Hey guys, this is Ari, and I am here in Costa Rica, which is my new home here in Nosara. And I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind for a little while now. And this is going to be maybe a bit controversial, and some of you are maybe going to be rubbed the wrong way initially by it, but stick with me because I promise it will make sense eventually. Okay, so I want to talk to you about intuition and about this idea, this advice that's commonly out there to just follow your intuition, listen to your body. That advice is really nice sounding advice. Nobody can really object to it. It feels good, it sounds good. It's hard to make a case against that, okay? But I'm going to make a little bit of a case against it, and then we're going to come back to why intuition is important. Now, stick with me because it's going to be a little bit counterintuitive. So there's a few thought experiments that I want to take you through to illustrate my point here. Now, please do this with me. Actually stick with me and do this process with me, okay? Here's what I want you to do first. Scrub your mind of everything that you know about nutrition and health. Forget everything you know about health science and nutrition science. Now, once you've done that, imagine this experience. So you know nothing about nutrition. What is, if you sit down for the first time and taste ice cream or pizza, what is your body and brain's intuitive reaction? What are the signals from your body about that experience? It's pleasure, right? How many people are going to taste pizza and ice cream for the first time? People who know absolutely nothing about nutrition science. They've never read or heard anything, totally ignorant. How many people are going to taste those foods for the first time and be like, oh wow, these are profoundly bad for me. I need to avoid these foods. No, of course, all the signals from your body and brain are saying, this is delicious, you should keep eating this and you should seek out more of this, right? Okay, so that's one little layer. I'm gonna come back to why this makes sense in a second, but let me take you through a couple other examples. One is exercise, okay? If you have ever taken someone who has never done a workout before, like a weight training workout, and taken them to work out before, what is their intuitive reaction? What are the signals from their body? If they're listening to their body, what are those signals telling them? And I can tell you, I was a personal trainer for many years when I was younger, so I know what this experience looks like. And what it looks like is people who feel like you're putting them through a torture session. And people who are like, I'm in pain, this is horrible, why am I doing this? And then not only are they in pain and feeling like they're being tortured during the session, but they're sore for 2 days after. Their body hurts for 2-3 days after that experience. And all of the signals from their body are saying, this is painful, this is uncomfortable, this is stressful, you should stop doing this thing, you should avoid this thing in the future, right? If you knew nothing about health science, you knew nothing about any of the science related to the actual health effects of exercise, all of the signals from your body would be telling you, don't do this thing, okay? And now I want to give you one more example to kind of tie things in and tell you where I'm going with this. So imagine two different people, okay? One person who has no knowledge, no belief systems around sex, no information, no ideas floating in their head around it. And another person who was raised since they were little that having sex before you're married is a horrible sin and it makes you a bad person and it's just this terrible sinful act. Now imagine both of those two people have sex for the first time before getting married, okay? How do the signals from their body differ after those two acts? The acts are the same, but the beliefs, the ideas that are in their head around that action are different. So how do their reactions differ? And the answer is the person who has no beliefs and information and ideas, who doesn't think it's a sinful act, probably will be stoked that they just had this beautiful, pleasurable experience and will probably want more of it. Now, on the other hand, the other person who has been taught since they were little that act, having sex before marriage, is sinful and is a shameful, horrible act, that person is going to have a completely different reaction. Their signals from their body and brain are going to be totally different. The same act, but totally different reactions in the body and brain to that act. Okay, they're going to be riddled with embarrassment and shame and guilt, and be stressed and anxious about what if my parents find out, and all those kinds of things, right? So here's my point from all of this. One's beliefs and ideas and information that they've acquired over the years influences your intuition. Okay, and it's not a small influence, it's a massive influence. Okay, so you can have information that you've acquired about, for example, exercise that allows you to take what is an otherwise uncomfortable, stressful, even tortuous, experience, and actually link positive emotions to it and seek it out and find pleasure in it, because you have the information around the science of that activity, that it actually is very healthful and helps prevent diseases, helps you live longer, and helps increase your energy levels, and so on. Now, on the other hand, you can take something where in an ignorant person who has no knowledge, the immediate reaction is pleasurable, like eating donuts and cookies and pizza and potato chips and ice cream. And with knowledge, with accurate knowledge of the science of nutrition, you can now link a completely different reaction to consuming those foods. Instead of just pleasure, you're now thinking, oh, well, this may be making me fat, and this is causing inflammation, and this is contributing to different kinds of diseases, and so on and so forth. Okay, so again, my point is this: there are actually two ways of acquiring knowledge. One is through pursuing science, through exploration of the natural world, and us included in that, humans included as being part of nature. And the second layer of knowledge is interoception, internal sensing, okay? And learning to read, to feel and understand the signals from your body and brain about your experience, and what learnings you can derive from that. It's important to understand that these are totally different kinds of knowledge, and we can't learn the same things about nature and about ourselves through each of these avenues. There is no amount of meditation and internal sensing that will help you map the stars, or measure the size of the sun, or know whether broccoli and blueberries are associated with cancer prevention, whereas, what are the effects of pizza and potato chips and ice cream, okay? Those things, you can never arrive at a deep understanding of those kinds of questions through simple interoception, through listening to your body, okay? That's where science comes in. And on the other hand, science can't necessarily tell you everything about how your body, you as an individual, respond to different things. So on the other end of this extreme, let's take someone who has knowledge of science. Let's say they know exercise is healthy, but they don't know how to listen to their body. So I read, I was watching a video the other day about a guy who was a big fitness star a few years ago, and now turns out he can't actually even exercise anymore because his body is in such severe pain. And he was telling the story of how he was lifting weights super hard every day, pushing 100% every single day, and he had tons of pain, and he just would keep pushing through the pain every day. And then he got to the point where he was in such severe pain that he was debilitated. And then he sought out surgeries, one after the other, tried physical therapy, it wouldn't help. He went through all of this stuff because he didn't know how to listen to the signals from his body. His body was trying to communicate, hey, you need to tone back, you need to relax, you need to take some rest days, you need to have some easier days, and he didn't know how to listen to those signals. So my point of all this is to say, again, we have these two kinds of information that we can derive, and they intermesh, they intertwine with one another. And your intuition can only serve you, can only be accurate and actually lead you in the right direction to the extent that you have an accurate understanding of the science piece, okay? So that's the foundation. You first need to have accurate information and accurate beliefs, and then you can allow your intuition to kick in and guide you in the right direction. Now, with that in mind, what happens if you don't have accurate information in your head? What happens if you believe, hey, you should avoid stress and exercise is a stress, so you should avoid exercise? Is that a good piece of information to allow your intuition to feed off of? What happens if you believe, hey, all of our ancestors ate a fruitarian diet, so the optimal diet is to only eat fruit and nothing else? What happens if you believe the opposite, that our ancestors ate a keto diet and with no carbs, and carbs are really bad, and or that they ate an all meat diet, okay? Or any number of other beliefs that, for example, if you want to be spiritual, you have to be vegan, you can't eat animal foods, right? If you have all of those belief systems, your intuition will be feeding off of those beliefs and then will be guiding you in certain directions based on that information. My point is to say, there are these two layers of knowledge, okay? Two ways of knowing things about nature and knowing things about ourselves and about our health, and how we use that information to guide ourselves toward health. One is the science, and then the other one is layering on the skill set of interoception, of being able to listen to your body, listen to your intuition on top of that. But the foundation is an accurate understanding of the science of health and nutrition. Okay, so none of this is intended to be a criticism of following your intuition and listening to your body. It is unquestionably profoundly important and valuable to listen to your body and build the skill set, and it is a skill set that you have to work on, of interoception, of the capacity to listen to your body. Now, it's so important, and I will say that I do it all the time. In fact, I'll give you just one example. Right now, I'm talking to you from Costa Rica. Why am I here? Why did I just move to this place? Well, I know a lot about health science, and I can tell you, you can make a case based on the scientific literature that cold exposure and living like in a cold place and doing cold soaks and that sort of thing, or just being exposed to a cold climate, is profoundly beneficial to health. So you could talk about brown adipose tissue and how that speeds the metabolism and fights obesity. And you could talk about, how cold exposure interacts with neurotransmitter systems in the brain, and how it interacts with the mitochondria, and how it can help bolster energy levels, and so on and so forth, okay? And I've experimented heavily with that, okay? But I know that me personally, my body functions best. I have the best energy levels. I have the best immune function. I feel the healthiest when I'm in a warm, sunny place, okay? And hence why I chose to be in a warm, sunny place, right? It's largely, that's not purely about just the science. It's also a matter of me spending time in different kinds of places and different kinds of climates, and being able to listen to my body about where it feels best. So again, intuition is profoundly important, but the advice, if not grounded in the proper context, to just listen to your body, listen to your intuition, is profoundly flawed, and again, just as likely to lead you in a bad direction as a good one. So step one is acquire a foundation of accurate scientific knowledge around the science of health. Step two is build the skill set of interoception and how to listen to your intuition. Hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to you again soon.